Hello, Home Slices. It's Kiara with Home Slice Adulting, coming to you guys with Season 5, Episode 6 of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, which is titled Shaking the Table. Now, before we get started, I want to say thank you for clicking on this video, and do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, don't forget to hit that notification bell so that a little birdie can chirp and let you know when I have posted new content. Episode was particularly entertaining and exciting, so let's just get right into it. Tomorrow is the first day of school for students at a school that I am now working at, and it's going to be a really busy day, so I need to start preparing for bed actually, and getting ready for what will be a big day tomorrow. And happy Labor Day to those of you who didn't have to go to work today. Always thought that was ironic. But let's talk about what happened on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, Season 5, Episode 6. So we see the second half of the family fight between A1 and Lyrica's families. There's something sad about when families fight, and this is, I don't know, Braxton Family Values, when the sisters are fighting, it feels different than this time around because they recognize that they are still family. And when you have two families that have come together through marriage, with the promise that there may be some divorce, coming around, it feels like all of our problems with this part of the family that we don't care for are about to go away. And they express that. They get into a fight, kerfuffle, they exchange insults and whatever, and Pam is trying to get over, let me go, trying to get over there to fight with Lyrica's side of the family. And Patrice has the nerve to say, thank God they don't have any kids because I couldn't deal with her for the rest of my life. You are a sister, and what part of your role in Lyrica's life means that you have to deal with her for the rest of your life? None. So shut up and mind your business. I don't like this. Okay? I don't like Patrice. But moving on, they talk about how A1 is Hollywood again, and that why he always got to check his side of the family. Because A1 said, y'all, this is really looking like Kansas up in here. And they were like, well, you shouldn't forget where you come from. If he associates in this type of behavior with Kansas, maybe it's best that he changed, okay? But moving on, he tells them that the reason that everybody came together was so they could reveal the news that Lyrica is pregnant. And instead of being happy, they are upset. And to me, it just feels so unfortunate that everybody is not on the same page of being happy about a new child being brought into all of this. And I understand that to Discord, but the good news is that there's a baby being born, and even better, that these adults have the ability to change the relationship that they have between them if they would only just shut up and get over all of the crap. Like, they can create a healthy environment for a baby. Just get over all of your mess and put that aside so that y'all could help be the village to raise a newborn baby, okay? Well, moving on, we see Lloyd say that he needs to make sure that the baby is A1's. And while a lot of people were thinking it because of the accusations with Lloyd should not have said it. I'm just going to step out there and say that as a person who has many siblings, we keep it real with our siblings, but that was not a keeping a real moment for Lloyd. I think he was doing that to hurt his brother, and because he was upset at what had just happened. So I didn't like that. They're being very messy, and I just didn't like that. And so next we see Big Lyrica, and A1 apologizes to Big Lyrica for throwing her out of the house. He says that it was his intentions to apologize to her that day, and that everyone came together to say Lyrica is having a baby. And Big Lyrica throws this big dramatic tantrum and runs across the street crying and whatnot. She definitely ain't dressed like somebody's mama. Big Lyrica has to be in her 50s or something. And as much as I don't want to say that there's nothing wrong with showing your midriff, she just doesn't. it didn't look good on her, I'll say that. But moving on, she's being all crying and all that kind of stuff, and I just feel bad that nobody was happy for them. But moving on, we see Shun Love and Amber Diamond. They're doing a photo shoot that they're going to premiere at a song party. Shun Love says she doesn't want her daughters having to sleep around with people. I ain't gonna say what she said to get ahead. She doesn't want her daughter to sleep around to get ahead the way that she did. Y'all, when she said that she didn't want her daughter to sleep around with other people, the way she said it made me laugh so hard. And it was funny to me because Amber was just sleeping with somebody last season, i.e. Cisco, so that she could be a part of the show this time around on this season. So it's too late, Shun Love. Your girl has already slept her way to the top, okay? Moving on, we see Shun Love trying to steal the show and show her daughter how to pose for her photo shoot. She called her daughter a spoiled B word, and that's too much. We all know the power of language, the power of being positive and speaking positive things into the atmosphere. And if you can talk that way about your daughter to us, you know, people that you don't know, then you definitely talk to your daughter that way, and it's not healthy or constructive. And while I'm on this, I care the least about their storyline, so I'm going to move on. Okay. Next, we see Nikki Baby, Teiarra, and Paris. And to summarize things very quickly, they get right to it. Paris tells them about their interactions with both Sade and Alejandra and confirm that Teiarra is not the only one and that is married, and unfortunately Teiarra looks genuinely surprised. The word concubine comes up and Teiarra seems genuinely upset and caught off guard, and the only thing I can say is just poor thing. When will Teiarra Marie get a break? When will Teiarra Marie put out music that we like, that will get her back on the map in a positive way? When will she stop messing around with dudes that don't care about her? And it's just, Teiarra Marie, I want to put as much positivity out there in the world for you and your career as possible, because it's not looking good. It's not looking good. I'm waiting for the moment where Teiarra Marie will be a phoenix that rises from the ashes of all of this love and hip hop BS, okay? But moving on, we see Lyrica and A1 shopping and you know, getting back on the same page. They're bummed about how their previous pregnancy announcement went, because it went terribly, but they're happy that they're back on good terms, and they're hoping for a do-over with their friends. They want to get together with, you know, the other couples that they are friends with and tell them the good news, and maybe their excitement about them having a child will help to make up for how horrible the whole dinner with their families went. And I kind of understand that, because my boyfriend and I were dating for a few months before we decided to tell our friends, because we have mutual friends. So we tell our friends and they're like, oh, it's just, you guys are dating each other, that's it. They seemed underwhelmed that I had been talking about a boyfriend and they didn't realize that they already knew him. So that kind of sucked. That I didn't necessarily reactions, but then that same day we told a different friend, and the way he lit up at the news and how surprised he was, just up for how I feel like we disappointed them with, you know, the news of us being together. So and we're still together today, 4 years now, so whatever. Moving on, we see Kimberly. Safari shows up, you know, while she is regarding her, you know, surgery and getting silicone sucked out of her butt or whatever. And immediately, Safari don't ask Kimberly how she doing or nothing. Immediately, he makes this whole situation about him. Even though, what, y'all? Was K Michelle drinking champagne? Not that I'm thinking about it, don't make sense. If you just got out of surgery, she's probably on pain meds, and I would assume she's not supposed to be drinking with that. So I'm gonna hope that she was drinking apple juice out of a, you know, champagne flute, but whatever. Moving on, we see Safari make the whole conversation about him, and it's basically, Kimberly, what did I ever do to you to make you go out and repeat something that I told you in confidence? Kimberly said that she let it slip and that she did not intend to hurt Safari. Forget what you did, you know, to Lyrica in her marriage. Okay, forget that. Put that out of your mind. You're worried about Safari. I'm under the impression that they're not even really that good of friends, but whatever. Moving on. Kimberly says, Safari, you don't have anything to worry about if you all didn't do anything. And Safari hints to that he may not have been 100% honest with Kimberly about where, Lyrica and Safari, what they actually did together. Okay. Now, Safari never says that they did anything, but he boasts about how he is so handsome and he can't be mad at Lyrica for shooting her shot. We'll talk more about that later. Moving on, we see Marcus and Crazy Brooke. Marcus walks into a wedding and he's totally caught off guard. Then his mama comes in, her mama comes in, and his mama says, well, you must be in trouble because Brooke's dress is black. Now here y'all, Marcus, this is like the third time we're seeing that Marcus, when he's caught off guard in front of the cameras, wants to start whispering and going off in corners with people. He takes Brooke to the side and starts whispering, this is not how we wanted to do this. Where is our flower girl? Where is this? Where is that? Where are our mama's dresses? You are denying me. And this time he was whispering some real stuff this time. That by Brooke taking it upon herself to plan this little makeshift wedding, that she was denying him the enjoyment of actually proposing to her, picking colors, doing the wedding planning, inviting the rest of their family and friends. And I agree with that. And then he says that he was engaged instead, because they were never engaged, remember? He proposes, and this turned out to not be a hot mess. It was weird. At the same time, it was a little crazy. Who goes into like a surprise wedding and then comes away engaged? As much as all this craziness is just definitely crazy, there is something that is sweet about it. And I am happy that they are happy. And I hope that they can stay that way. And I hope that Marcus has gotten all of these other people out of his system and they can have a real happy relationship. Now, moving on, we see Ray J and Princess. Ray J is making pickles and milk. And Princess said, I only like pickle juice before 10 a.m. She sounded like a real diva. Princess is not enjoying being pregnant. And I think a big part of that is because Ray J has her own lockdown like a pregnant prisoner. And Princess just wants to go out. Princess tells him that they got invited to dinner by Lyrica and A1 and that Lyrica and A1 patched things together. And Ray J is just can't deal with the fact that he has all of this information that he somewhat made up, okay? Because when he did talk to Safari said something along the lines of, I didn't mean for it to go that way, or I didn't mean for things to go that far, or something like that. And then Ray J let his imagination run wild. Safari never came outright and said anything. So whatever Ray J thinks he knows, I'm under the impression that it's not even true. Moving on, we see Teiarra and Princess. So we get to this part of the episode. This was so entertaining. Okay, so we see that Teiarra and Princess go over to Akbar's house. He has a nice house. I'm not gonna, deny any of that. He has a great house. Nikki did not show up, and Teiarra was shady about Nikki not being there to back her up. But because Nikki has managed to be a more likable person this season, and because Nikki has always had Teiarra Marie's back in every instance, I'm going to give Nikki the benefit. I 100% think that if Nikki could be there to confront Akbar and the sister wives, that Nikki would be there, okay? But Akbar answers the door. How is this? And he's basically trying to charm Paris right away after he finds out that they're here to discuss the sister wife business, okay? Something about Akbar, I told y'all off the top, before we knew about the whole sister wives situation, that something about Akbar did not sit right with me, because his eyes are scary, okay? Like the pit bulls with the pretty eyes. Like, yeah, your eyes are pretty, but you're a pit bull, okay? And also, I told y'all about the sister wife situation before we knew that that was going to happen. So, you know, I kind of peep game on Akbar. Okay. But moving on, he adds value to them. He basically says that he's upgrading Teiarra and that she is so much better now than where she was before. But Paris said it best. We are women. We are not investments. Okay. So Akbar basically preyed on Teiarra when she came out of rehab. He saw that she was trying to do something different with her life, that she was at a low point, and in order to build her back up, he was going to put a little money in there. He was going to do some videos and put her in the studio and make a return on his investment while, you know, increasing his sister wife empire. He brings out the other ladies so that Teiarra can get all of her questions answered. That part looks staged because according to Teiarra Marie, this particular night was supposed to be a date night. Why are the other two ladies at your house if you're having a date night with Teiarra, who does not know about this sister wife situation? And just to be honest and forthright with y'all, I do not believe that Teiarra knew about the sister wife situation. And I do believe that she is going into this surprised and that part of it is not staged. So Alejandra has really sweaty pits when she comes out. I think she was doing jumping jacks waiting for Teiarra to get there or something. And Sade looks like she's dating a drug dealer who's on trial. You know, the drug dealer girlfriends that always be in the courtroom? Yeah, that's what she looks like. So Sade and Alejandra, Paris and Nikki set up their meetups, which is not true. We know that Paris and Nikki set up these meetups on their own. Akbar is just eating all of this up, and Sade goes into a spiel about the pecking order in the sister wives, you know, empire, and that, you know, Sade is number one, Alejandra is number two, and if Teiarra tags along, Teiarra is gonna have to be number last, okay? And so, interestingly enough, Alejandra and Sade start getting into a little beef and start getting into some disagreement. And Akbar said, "Well, y'all beefing now? We're supposed to be a team." Ugh, yuck. Like, that just makes my skin crawl. The fact that he are a team and that this is not borderline, you know, bigamy and yucky, okay? But moving on, Sade said that this is the reason why Akbar does not get to pick his new concubines without her. They got to agree on them. Y'all, this stuff is making my skin crawl a little bit, but it is also very entertaining, okay? So Paris gets into it with Alejandra because Alejandra feels like Paris has no room to talk about this whole situation. And Paris is just there to have her girls back, okay? It's two sister wives against one Teiarra, so Paris is just there to tip the scales, okay? So Teiarra turns to leave, and you can tell she's getting emotional. She's starting to sound like she's about to cry. And she says, you know, she doesn't share me, and this is not what I'm here for. And while she is turning to leave, Sade tries to run over and hit Teiarra, which I don't understand. I do not get it. In my eyes, innocent. And if she is guilty of something, it's being stupid enough to believe Akbar, okay? I don't Teiarra did any day. Sade just had it in her mind that she had Paris set them up or something like that. Whatever it is, I feel like Sade didn't have a reason to go after Teiarra, and then when they start fighting, Alejandra goes after Paris. They're grabbing hair, and bodyguards and whatnot come around, and nobody really got to anybody. And they each had 2 rounds of fights. Sade runs outside to try to get Teiarra, and Alejandra runs after Paris because even the production looks surprised. Y'all know it's real when the production looks surprised. Like, usually the production be like, "Oh, they on script today." But they got off script and the production was like, "What is happening? What is going on?" So, y'all, look, as entertained as was by this particular segment of the show, I just feel so bad for Teiarra. And most of all, I feel bad that she gave Akbar to spread wife's message to the masses. I just feel so bad for Teiarra, y'all. We need to find a way to give her a break, okay? If she put out some music, y'all just buy it, okay? Off the strength that it will be donated to her improving her life and not needing a man, okay? Next, we see Ray J on Safari. Ray J thinks that him enjoying his dinner was more important than him staying out of their business, more important than not destroying their marriage after they've gotten back together, whatever. I think Ray J is being extremely selfish in convincing Safari to come to this dinner with Lyrica and A1 to set the record straight. It seems like it is more important to Ray J that the three amigos stick together as opposed to Lyrica and A1, their marriage. So to me, it's coming off very selfish, and Ray J is just worried about himself. And he wants Safari to pop up at the dinner to confess and then to apologize. Now, next we see Rockstar, Amber, Brooke, and Paris, and Sean Love or whatever at this solo release party or something like that. I don't really know what kind of party it was, but Rockstar says that he mastered the crap out of the single and claims to have paid the crowd to bob their heads to the music. Okay, so Brooke shows Paris the ring, and she can't wait to rub it in Lyrica's face. Brooke's sisters, not friends, and even though they have disagreements, you know, they are still going to maintain a good relationship, which nice. Okay, I'll say that. It's funny because Brooke's engagement is going to be one-upped by Lyrica's baby announcement, but whatever. So Paris tells Brooke about the sister wives situation, and Brooke just feels so proud of herself that she spilled enough tea to change Teiarra Marie's life. You were being messy, okay? You were not spilling the tea for Teiarra's good, okay? Whatever. Moving on. Sean Love shows up. The mom and daughter make up after having an argument a little bit earlier in the episode, and we listen to the song Bye-Bye. Everybody is bobbing their heads, and when compared to what we heard last time and what we were hearing today, the mastered single, it sounded good. Okay, it sounded as good as any of the other auto-tune things that are on the radio nowadays. Okay, that people are putting out. Okay. Now, Sean Love didn't really like it. She claims that it was so auto-tuned that she couldn't recognize her daughter's voice, and she doesn't realize that that's what made it listenable. That's why we could listen to it, is because it was so auto-tuned that okay. So, Rockstar, being the person, the terrible, yucky person that he is, the punk that he is, this man kept the raw vocals and played them. And what we heard last time was what they played this time. And it was not good. And it made Rockstar look terribly unprofessional. It just made him look very bad. It was bad for everybody. It was bad for Amber. The mama was, threw her purse at him and everything. And Rockstar says, well, she can keep the other $20,000 and use it for vocal lessons for Amber. So moving on, it is messy dinner time, and it's supposed to be 3 couples. 7 is company. Okay, it's supposed to be Ray J and Princess, Lyrica and A1. So admits that he told Safari to come by to Princess, and Princess was not happy with that. It's real interesting that Princess with on the show seems unreasonable, but with Ray J is so crazy and deluded that Princess seems like the sensible one. That's a little weird. But moving on, Princess was not happy that Ray J invited Safari, and Brooke and Marcus show up, and then Lyrica and A1 show up. So they announced their engagement, Brooke and Marcus, and immediately, like I said, Lyrica one-ups the announcements and announces that she is pregnant. And here come the jokes about not knowing who the baby daddy is. And I'm not going to go there because it's low-hanging fruit, okay? But moving on, he and separated. Now, women typically don't know they're pregnant until like the 2nd or 3rd month. So the fact that they were broken up for a few weeks, to me, is not telling at all. Yeah, it's not telling to me. See that Princess takes Lyrica to the bathroom to tell her that Safari is going to show up. And of course, Safari shows up while they're going to the bathroom. Ray J is trying to negotiate peace contracts and whatever. And he's trying to get Safari to admit to what he confessed. Again, Safari did not admit to anything. I see it is that Safari allowed Ray J's imagination to run wild, and now that this has run amok and that this rumor has become very big, it's too late for Safari to turn back now. While I do think inappropriate may have happened, I don't think that it escalated to the point of them actually having sexual contact. You guys why later. But Safari to me feels like he is too full of it to actually admit that nothing happened. And we know we're not going to really get the truth out of Lyrica. For me, I felt like Lyrica very boldly confronted Safari situation. And to me, that comes off as if she's not guilty of anything. Lyrica like confronted Safari head on. Why did you tell him that we did sing? And now, and whatever. Everybody's uncomfortable. And you know, this is after Brooke goes to get Lyrica, and you know, Lyrica says that the rumor is old, it's fake news, and Safari's avoidance makes me feel like he just let the rumor get out of hand. So last thing we see is A1 hopping over the table trying to get to Safari, and they should just let it happen. A1 is getting notorious for hopping over stuff. Lyrica's thing is throwing things. Lyrica will throw something in a minute. She threw a book at A1. She threw a drink at Patrice. Lyrica's thing is throwing stuff. She almost threw a chair. A1's thing is hopping over stuff. He hops on tables and jumps over car hoods, okay? So that's the way that they fight. But that's the last thing that we see. And so next time on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, A1 and Ray J get into it. Ray J needs to fight. Somebody needs to fight Ray J. Just off the strength that Ray J be on some BS, okay? The fact that he felt it was okay to invite somebody who may have slept with A1's wife to a party where they just revealed that they had a baby or that they're having a baby. It just ain't right. Okay. Just don't sit right with me. Okay. Yeah. I want to fight. Moving on, we see Teiarra's problems with Akbar reach criminal proportions when she busts the windows out of his G-Wagon. Y'all, this thing's really gonna get out of hand, and I feel like other Love and Hip Hop franchises in Atlanta work fizzled off over the course of years. But I feel like it's the opposite with Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. That as we progress, as whatever they're doing for this season, whatever's going on these people's lives for this season is just incredibly entertaining. So I am thoroughly entertained by what happened tonight. You all let me know what you think, what your theory is about Safari's involvement with Lyrica. Just let me know your thoughts on this Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. Thank you guys for watching, and peace out, home slices.